Hey, peace world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. I'm the man here that keeps it all cooking wood. Please go over to www.bitedownboxing.com. I tried to put together a guide for this Saturday's boxing action. Tons of action out there on multiple platforms. So we have a triple header uh, in terms of platforms or outlets. So, but it's not quite as difficult, even as I wrote it last night, yesterday. It's really not as difficult to navigate as I initially thought. Just completely skipping over the fact that the Josh Taylor, the Tartan Tornado, and Regis Rougarou Prograis is overseas. It's over in the UK at the O2 Arena. So that one will be starting, earlier than the other two. And then you can make up your mind what you want to do between Showtime's card and the plus. The action is going to be on the plus. So go over there. I got the start times on there. I got you where it's going to be, what outlet it's going to be on. And, you can break down and attack your weekend the way that you want. It could be a multiple device weekend or night for you, or you could, watch one and catch the other on demand, or however you want to do it. But I got all I got the important stuff on there. I didn't go into all of the fighters. There are some other fighters. Connor Ben, if you're keeping an eye on what's going on with him and his development, he's fighting on that Taylor Prograis card. I didn't go too much into Chisora and Price. Slick that Chisora is now kind of calling out Usyk. But yeah, so check that out and keep it in mind. Like I said, man, one thing that I hope to do with some of my updates, I see a lot of content out there and nobody gives you, well, I'm not even going to say it's the content or the channel or the content creator or the channel owner's fault. It pains me that even an hour or 30 minutes before some of these fights, some of these cards, you go online on multiple social media platforms and people still don't know where the hell to go to watch what they want to see, or the last minute they're finding out this is on the plus and not regular ESPN, or so on and so forth. So I just try to get out ahead of it all, give you a guide, like I said, to check all this stuff out. So yeah, so like I said, action this weekend on the plus, on the Zone app. That's ESPN Plus. They're just calling it the Plus now. The Zone app, and then a Showtime boxing, a special edition. So I'm not gonna go into all three of them today. I will deal with the Erickson Lubin and Nathaniel Gallimore headlined card that will be on Showtime. The one thing going into that, well, before I get into that, man, let's back up a second. Hopefully you appreciated. I love that it was action on Friday this past weekend with the light heavyweight unification bout between Alexander Vojdik and Artur Beterbiev. Beterbiev prevailed, became the unified. I think that's what IBF and WBC belts, I believe, is what he possesses now. 10th round stoppage. I'm sure you've seen it right now. I broke it down, in the car the other day, or yesterday, Saturday, I believe. And good fight. Wasn't not sure where it might have fell for you aesthetically or style wise. That's one thing in the light heavyweight division over the last few years, as certain people have moved on. I just and the newer Americans that were kind of had a chance to get involved there, which it was only a couple. Sir Marcus Brown being one of them. But now that we've seen him get touched up a bit by Pascal, it seems like he would be a little bit. His chin might not allow him to really get in here and get to a world championship. But Beterbiev actually, well, Volchnik actually spent a couple of days in the hospital just for precaution. I believe they said he was concussed, and that was kind of my thing going into this, was just how would Volchnik deal with Beterbiev's aggression and with his power. And it's a weird kind of power because, now I'm seeing talks of where does Beterbiev rank in terms of the biggest punchers in the game. But he never, he didn't lay Volchnik out cold, or, he didn't knock him out. Guy gets up 2 or 3 times and, and is taking knees. He was dealing with this power, in a respectable manner. But here it is. But the body shots were just, them joints was moving Volchnik and changing his personality, changing his demeanor real time in that fight. And then, like I said, to end up concussed, obviously Beterbiev is a heavy-handed guy, hell of a puncher. But that I guess that just goes to show us what kind of devastating power that Deontay Wilder has. Even an Inoue. I don't know, man. It's I guess you see what you want to see with these guys in terms of their power. I take nothing away from Beterbiev. Definitely, like I said, definitely hard hitter. But I guess it's the way that he lands these shots. He's not trying to land flush on the button and all of that. Like, he's punching through guards. He's one of these guys that just makes contact. And I don't know. I'll leave that at that. Getting into so he becomes unified light heavyweight champion, and we'll see what's next. He's kind of a newer superstar to boxing now for some. And we'll see what's next, what goes on with him. Let's get into this Showtime card. Again, please check out the BiteDownBoxing.com, the article out there about October 26th. Get all your details there, start times, and, so on and so forth. But this Erickson Lubin versus Nathaniel Gallimore at the super welterweight division. Lubin, in my opinion, since he suffered a devastating first round knockout to Jermell Charlo a couple years ago, derailed his career, but he's fought his way back. And him and Kevin Cunningham have linked up and, kind of formed a nice bond, a strong bond. And Cunningham is, a guy that's looking out, noted for looking out for his fighters. And seems to do a lot of things the right way, or to try to do things the right way. Does it always translate on fight night? It's a tough game. Gallimore was actually had positioned himself to make a lot of noise in the super welterweight division. One of my favorite divisions for the last 3 to 4 years. He just beat up Justin Deloach in 5 rounds. But then he came back, was very confident going in against the Julian Williams, who had a so-so performance in some regards against Ishe Smith, and Gallimore thought he was going to take him apart. And then they met, and Julian Williams basically gave a precursor performance to what we would see even more fine-tuned against Jared Hurd. So I think this fight, to be honest with you, since Gallimore has come back from that loss to, I think it was a split decision loss to, might have been a majority decision. But since he's come back from that, he really hasn't fought the better opposition, hasn't stopped anybody. He's 1-1, and he just took a bigger step back, and still some of the techniques and the strategies and what tactically, he still hasn't really improved those areas that Julian Williams' game exposed about Gallimore. So I'm watching Gallimore. He's a friend of the show. I've interviewed him a couple times, and I'm just trying to see. We know you have the heart, good power, and determination and all of that type of stuff, and you want to compete. But I don't know. I think Lubin is a little has made it farther back, and just has more in the tank at this point. Lubin might be 4 years younger, something like that. Um, Lubin stopped Ishe Smith, the only man to do that. Kind of washed him in some ways. Um, Southpaw, pretty athletic kid. Uh, I don't know. I think it's going to be a good fight, but I'd be hard pressed to go with Gallimore in this one. He does step in for Terrell Gaucher, and it gives him a second chance to immediately, reinsert himself in the discussion and be among to fight his way into contention. Does it play out that way Saturday night? We just have to wait and see. Just have to wait and see. But like I said, I think Lubin has done more for me to be more more confident in giving him the nod in that one. But like I said, it should be an entertaining fight. The one thing on the card, with it being a special edition versus Showtime Championship Boxing, are we not going to get the big boys in terms of the on-air people and Brian Custer, Ronaldo, Bernstein, and Malinaji? It seems like with this special edition, we could be getting Tompkins, Farhood, and Marquez. Is that my man's name? Marquez? Diamante? Anyway, small detail there. Also on that card will be the return, or actually the debut of Robert Easter Jr., former lightweight champion, up at 140 pounds against a guy in Adrian Granados who's coming back down from welterweight. Who knows here? It's kind of it's a very important match for both guys. Could be the end, for Granados. This could be his 8th loss. For Easter Jr., if he was to lose here, it could put him in a bit of limbo where he would really have to figure out, like, is he one of those guys who no longer has a weight class, or if he wins, is he a guy that can go on and compete at the world class level and maybe claim a title in a second weight class? But 140 is loaded. 140 is absolutely loaded. So you got to get in here, look good, have a good night, and make a statement. And definitely can't have a repeat performance of what we saw a couple of months ago, a few months back, against Rancis Bartholomew. Granados, my question with him would be, is he a little softened up? That was a one-sided fight against Danny Swift Garcia back in April, I believe. Just absolutely got destroyed. I don't think he did anything positive in that fight. And it went on. I mean, 2 or 3 knockdowns. And it becomes a question of, can you do the things that you used to do that made you successful? And he was a gritty guy, all heart, a lot of activity, has good power, stopping Amir Imam. Amir Imam back in 2015, getting a split decision in Adrian Broner's hometown, where Broner hurt his right hand, I believe. Or maybe he hurt whatever. He hurt a hand and was one-handed from like the 3rd round on. But Granados fought well, and like I said, fought to a split decision. But hasn't, he lost to Porter. Nothing to hang your head about that. But like I said, this last fight with Garcia just kind of really squashed all hopes for him at 147, and perhaps that's why we see him back now campaigning at 140. And I think it's a great matchup. And like, it should be, about where Easter Jr. can get back to banging a little bit, and letting his hands go and trying to impose his will and whatnot. So we'll see. Also on that card is F.A. Ajagba, the undefeated heavyweight. I believe he's a Nigerian based out of Houston. He's also going to be on that card. So it's a triple header Saturday night. Again, check out the article where I have all the start times and the platforms broken down for you. Let me get on out of here. Bite down boxing. Don't let them count you out. Peace.